Did you think that making money as an influencer would be easy? Well, I made the mistake of thinking it kinda was until I burnt out, got underpaid, and realized I had no idea what I was doing. Now I've landed my first 4-figure brand deal, had multiple videos hit over 1 million views, and reached my first 6K month as a micro-influencer. But none of that happened by luck. It took a lot of trial, error, and hard lessons. So to save you from making the same mistakes, here are 19 brutally honest truths about making money as a content creator. Number 1. Most creators don't make money because they're too afraid to ask. When I first started out, I used to think that as long as I made good content, then the money will eventually come, that it was just inevitable. But I realized that some, if not most, brands will not give you money unless you actually ask for it. And especially as smaller content creators, we need to be proactive when it comes to brand deals. This means we need to learn how to negotiate, how to pitch, how to brand ourselves, so that brands will actually want to work with us. This also means that you should not be accepting every single gifted collab that you receive. You need to learn your value as a content creator, and you actually need to believe in it. Because if you yourself don't believe in your own value, then how do you expect brands to believe in you? Treat yourself as valuable and only work with brands who see the value in working with you. So this is what I want you to do. Next time you receive a gifted collab in your inbox, don't be scared to ask for their budget or to send in your rates. The worst they can say is no or reject your rate. But if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. For example, one of the biggest brand deals that I've ever had was around $2,000. And the thing is, this started out as a brand coming to me for a gifted collaboration. And I really liked their products, and I was about to just accept it. But then I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to believe in my own value, that my content was actually valuable, and so I asked them if they had a budget, and then I sent in my rates. And at first I was so nervous. I was like, what if they reject me? Do these rates even make sense for me? I was so not confident in myself, but I just had to go through with it. The brand saw my budget, they asked for a little bit lower, and eventually they accepted it. And I actually worked with that brand twice. And speaking of being confident and believing in yourself, lesson number 2 is that the way you speak about your value determines how much you get paid. I used to instantly reply to brands with, I would love to collaborate, without ever thinking about results or what I ever brought to the table. I used to act like it was the brand doing me a favor instead of me doing them a favor, when in reality, it's both. Both me and the brand are doing each other a favor. That's why it's called collaborating, and that's why it's called working together. When I started speaking more professionally and showing my value, my rates got accepted way more. This also means that whenever I message brands, I came ready with content ideas, with different content styles that I've done myself. I came ready with my media kit, my portfolio. All these things make you look professional. Because if you sound unsure of yourself, then brands will match that energy and give you lowball offers. You need to know your value and articulate it clearly. Tell them about your reach, your audience, your results, and why your content is good for them. Be confident. And another thing, if you don't have quite the audience online yet, keep working on your content and make sure that your content is actually high quality so that brands can see the value in you. For example, they can see your content and they can be like, oh, this would be good for a paid ad, or this content can directly go up against our competitor. Research, research, research. This is not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, then everyone would be succeeding at it. Don't gaslight yourself to think that this is easy. You actually have to put in the work in order to reap the reward. Lesson number 3. Your audience doesn't have to be huge, but it does need to be connected. In the beginning, I used to think that I needed to have 100K or even 10K followers before I even got paid. Then I worked with a brand that said that they wanted to work with me because of my close-knit community and because of my engagement rate. The higher the engagement, the better. So while it's good to want to keep growing your account in terms of followers, make sure not to neglect building an actual community too. A really good way to foster a community is to also engage with other creators in your same niche. Especially if they're in a similar boat as you, or especially if they're the same size as you, we need to stick together and we need to support each other. So what I did in the beginning was I followed a lot of creators who were like-minded, who had the same niche as me, like in the beauty niche. And a lot of the times I would comment on their posts and they would follow me back and they would comment on my post. So it was like a win-win situation because we're supporting each other. And because of other creators commenting on my post got boosted to more audiences who in turn also commented on my post. So it's basically like supporting each other, building each other up so that we can reach new audiences together. So make sure that while you're striving to grow your audience, also focus on building a community, because brands don't just want reach, they also want results. A loyal and engaged audience of 10K is way more valuable than 100K people who don't care about what you have to say. Lesson number 4. Free PR is not the goal. Getting paid is. If you actually want to earn from content and make it a career, your goal should not be getting free products. Instead, you need to focus on trying to get paid. Don't get me wrong, I used to feel so excited whenever I got free products, and I still do. But a lot of the times it's gifted collaborations, which means that I actually still had to work for it. And can I just say this? It's not PR if you actually still have to make a video for it. It's a barter or gifted collaboration. Eventually, I accepted so many of these gifted collaborations that my makeup and skincare boxes were full, but my bank account wasn't. Gifted collabs are not the ultimate win you think they are. If you're doing content just for fun and you just want to do them for the free products, that's cool. But if you actually want to get paid, if you accept too many of these gifted collaborations, your whole social media page will just look like an ad and everything will be sponsored. And you're not going to have time to create the content that's actually meaningful to you. For example, last year, I accepted so many gifted collaborations that every single one of my posts were sponsored. And I didn't have time to sit down and actually make content like this, like talking videos that I genuinely enjoyed. I didn't have time to make any of that because I was way too busy making content for brands instead of making content for my personal brand. A good rule of thumb for me is I have a document full of my dream brand list, and these brands I'm allowed to accept gifted collaborations from them. Just don't accept everything because you will get burnt out. Your time, your skill, and your influence are worth more than free products. Learn to say no to gifted collaborations if they're not worth your time. Lesson number 5. You're eventually going to be one brand deal away from securing your first 4-figure brand deal. I know that it might seem far-fetched right now, especially if you're struggling to get consistent paid collabs. I felt very stuck in the cycle of small, inconsistent collabs too. $50 here, $150 there. I felt like I had to say yes to every paid brand deal that came my way, especially because of how scarce they were. Then eventually I landed my first 4-figure brand deal, which was $1.5K. It didn't come because I said yes to the opportunity right away. Actually, they offered $800 at first, but then I had to say no because I made myself a deal that month that I was only going to accept collabs that were 1K or higher, which was so far-fetched in my mind, but I was being strategically delusional. And I was just telling myself the first brand deal I accept this month will be above 1K. I had to keep the abundance mindset going, and eventually it paid off. The 4-figure numbers, I thought it was only possible after I surpassed 100K followers or even 50K followers, but I was sub 30K when I landed this deal. So remember that your big break is always closer than you think. Stay consistent, keep showing up. That one video, one email, one connection could literally change your entire income. Lesson number 6. Storytelling is everything. When I first started, I didn't really focus on storytelling much. My content sounded more salesy because I did want to try UGC, but then again, UGC itself isn't supposed to sound so salesy. Basically, I was always trying to convince my audience to buy one product after the other. But once I started talking to my audience like a friend, and when I started telling real stories, that's when people actually listen, and that's when I was able to foster my community more. That's when I started receiving comments like, I felt heard in this video. This was so relatable. This is how I've been feeling. And honestly, I'm still heavily working on my storytelling skills. But if you haven't started working on it yet, I would start to do some research and I would start practicing as soon as possible. Your story should be part of your strategy because that's how people remember you. And that's how you can stick out to brands as a valuable creator. Lesson number 7. This one is a little bit of advice for people who are creating sponsored videos for brands. Stop just posing for the camera if you're trying to advertise the product. Focus on the product. Let me tell you what I mean. When I first started doing brand deals, I kind of made it all about me. How good I wanted to look, how aesthetic I wanted to be, but I wasn't actually showing the product itself or how it helped me. I was just doing poses, peace signs, nothing related to the product, nothing to tell my audience how valuable it was. My content shifted when I started demonstrating the product, speaking directly to my audience and being genuine about why it mattered. Because here's the truth, whenever you do brand deals, it's not always about how pretty you look. It's about helping the audience see the value in the product. So if you want brands to love working with you, remember that you are not the only star of your video. The product is too. Position it in a way that sells through the story that you're portraying, not just your face. This is where we're gonna get through some identity shifts that you're gonna face as a creator. Lesson number 8. You need to treat it like a job even if you're not there yet. In the beginning, I treated content creation more like my hobby. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that, but I treated it like a hobby even though I wanted it to be my career. That doesn't align. If you want content to be your career, you need to stop treating it like a hobby. You need to start taking yourself seriously because brands also won't take you seriously if you're not taking yourself seriously. So if you want to do this full time, you actually have to start treating it like it's your job now, even if it isn't yet. That means having structure, systems, and discipline to follow through even when no one's watching yet. Lesson number 9. You need to post like you have 100K or even 1 million followers way before you get there. One thing that I'm proud of is that I kept posting even when my content did not get any traction. I was having this delusional mindset that I will make it no matter what. And guess what? That mindset is the one that brought me to where I am today, and it's what's gonna bring me to where I want to be. I don't care if you feel cringe doing it, and I don't care if you feel like being delusional is cringe. It's actually a driving factor, and it's actually a motivating factor that helps you keep going. And hear me out, it's not fully delusional if you actually have a strategy. And along with having a strategy, you can't just be delusional and be like, yes, I'm gonna become a full-time content creator by next year and not take any action. That means you have to put in the work. You need to start moving like you have 1 million followers, which means posting content regularly. This means you actually have to do some research. You have to research your niche, research social media, research some trends, research what works best, research how to talk to your audience, storytelling, storytelling, filmmaking, etc. You need to start showing up like the person you want to become, because eventually when the right people find you, your content will resonate with them and you will be ready. Lesson number 10. You need to push yourself and hold yourself accountable. There is no boss in content creation telling you to get up and film. No one is gonna come to pull your life together for you. I feel like a lot of people have this victim mindset, not just in content creation but in general. It's like we have the urge to always keep blaming external factors to justify as to why we're not where we want to be, and to justify why we haven't made any progress yet. And I do understand that there's some things that are beyond our control, but we need to take control of what we can, which is ourselves and our actions. Whenever I'm in a content rut, I don't have anyone to come get up and tell me to start working. I need to do that myself. So when I realized that no one was coming to save me, I needed to start saving myself. So if you want results, you need to hold yourself to a standard. You need to push through the moments when you don't feel like it. Discipline builds momentum, and momentum will build you your dream life. Lesson number 11. You will get tested on how you view your worth. Honestly, there are more times than I can count when I accepted lowball offers just to feel chosen. But I realized that every time I said no to a brand that didn't value me, a better opportunity eventually came. Your results will mirror what you believe you deserve. If you don't respect your own values, then no one else will. Your boundaries are a part of your brand. Lesson number 12. Care less about your looks and more about the value you bring to your audience. I used to obsess over how I looked in every single video, hair, lighting, angles, and while all of that still do matter to me, it's not what's most important. Honestly, I'm still working on not being so obsessive, but the content that matters the most is when we show up as ourselves and say something that matters to our audience. People follow people who help them, not just pretty faces. Even though I do follow a lot of pretty influencers, that's not the main reason why people stay followed. I honestly think that should not be your main goal. Your content will grow once you shift your focus from do I look good to what am I bringing to my audience. Lesson number 13. Your personal brand matters. Create a blueprint. At first, I was posting anything and everything, hoping something would stick. But once I got clear on my brand pillars, which are content, mindset, and beauty, I started attracting the right people as well as brands. Confused personal brands don't convert. Clear personal brands do. This means that you should know what you stand for. Your blueprint will help people remember you and will help you stay consistent. Once you have a clear vision of what you want your brand to be, content gets easier because you don't need to keep second guessing every time you want to post. You don't need to keep asking yourself what to post because you will already have it. And honestly, personal brand is so important. I highly encourage you to, after this video, do some research on how to establish a personal brand on social media. Lesson number 14. Focus on progress over perfection. Ironically, I did make a mistake during the filming process, if you can't tell by my appearance, but I wasn't able to film this lesson the same day as everything else because I completely accidentally skipped it over. But I'm doing it now because it's better done imperfectly than never. And low-key, I also don't want to redo the whole video just because I missed one part. But we have the tendency to hold ourselves back because we want our content to be perfect. But the reality is, waiting for perfection will keep you stuck. You need to prioritize progress over perfection in order to move forward. So focus on tracking your progress, your metrics, and your skill development over time, rather than waiting for you to be fully decked out on your editing and filming skills before you even start. Lesson number 15. You need to be delusional and believe in yourself. I had zero proof that I could make this work, but I chose to believe anyways. Like I was saying earlier, that delusional belief is what helped me get to where I am right now and what will help me get to where I want to be in the future. It's what's helped me show up on days where I had every reason to be demotivated and every reason to quit. You have to believe in your success before there's any evidence. You have to be confident in yourself, and confidence doesn't just come from results. It also comes from deciding that the results are inevitable as long as you put in the work. And lastly, let's go over some reality checks. Lesson number 16. I don't have enough fingers for that. Lesson number 16. You will feel unqualified and wonder why you have the audacity to think that anyone cares. There were so many moments before, and even a lot now, when I question if I even deserve to be creating content. As in, like, what do I have to say? Why am I so important? Like, why am I treating myself like I have anything valuable to offer to people? But you need to realize that that's imposter syndrome speaking. A lot of creators that I look up to and you look up to also felt the same way when they were starting. And even now, a lot of people feel imposter syndrome no matter how successful they become. But remember that feeling unqualified doesn't mean you are. Look at it as if you're going into something new, because the only way to deserve your platform is if you actually use it. The truth is, confidence comes from doing, and your audience will care if you care about what you are saying. As cliche as it sounds, the more we speak from the heart, the more people feel connected to to us. Lesson number 17. You won't have it all together 99% of the time. I used to think that every creator I saw had their life figured out. Like everyone else had systems, schedules, while I was just winging it. But when I started talking to other creators, I found out that we are all winging it at some point. Don't let the chaos stop you from starting. You can still grow while figuring things out. Even during my most unorganized seasons, I still showed up, and that's truly what matters. Lesson number 18. You will feel imposter syndrome, especially at in-person creator events. I went to my first drop-in creator event, and when I first walked in, I saw people shooting content, taking pictures, posing like they were born to be in front of a camera. While I felt so awkward on camera, and I still do. When my boyfriend started taking B-roll of me, I did not know how to pose. I literally just froze. I didn't know how to smile. I just felt like an imposter. If you ask my boyfriend, he'll tell you that I was overthinking. But in my head, I was so nervous. I felt like everyone was looking at me, and I felt like whenever someone looked at me, they would know that I didn't belong. But in reality, more people are focused on themselves than on you. Imposter syndrome doesn't mean you're a fraud. It means that you care. And the more rooms you walk into scared, the more you'll grow into the person who feels like they belong there. The confidence comes after you show up. So if you feel nervous to post, post anyways. If you feel nervous to film in public, film anyways. If you feel nervous at events, go anyways. And lastly, lesson number 19. You can't be 100% happy with the content you produce. I used to delay posting videos because they weren't perfect, but sometimes the ones I hesitated to post ended up performing the best. And another thing, there's no such thing as perfect. So if you're waiting for perfect content, it will never come and you will never post. Remember that your content doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be done and shared. And the truth is, we are not the best judges of our own work. Sometimes we're more critical on ourselves than we need to be, which, don't get me wrong, is good. It's good to be critical of our own work so that we can improve. But at the same time, you need to be constructive. If you have a friend or another creator who's on this journey with you, try to send them your post before you post it. Asking for advice and asking for feedback from other people is a great way to judge your content. So post it anyway. And the content that might feel lackluster to you might be exactly what someone else needed. If any of these lessons hit a little bit too close to home, you're not alone. I'm still figuring out my creator journey too. A little bonus lesson for those who stuck around is that no one is going to hold your hand and guide you through this. You're going to feel alone a lot of the times. That's why it's important to surround yourself with creators, even online, who you can talk to. And I know that it might seem scary. I'm also still getting over my nerves when it comes to connecting with other people. But if you do want someone to hold your hand a little bit when it comes to this journey, I did just open up some spots in my creator clarity call where I help creators formulate a strategy, plus help them with a 60-day content calendar plan according to your goals to help you get started and to help you stay consistent. This is using my creator consistency system, which is the system that helped me post 3 times a day for 44 days straight, and what is helping me post every single day now. So if you're interested, the link is in my description for you to book a call. If you booked one, I will talk to you soon. This is where I'll guide you through your content journey, figure out your plan, and help you build a system and workflow so that content can feel easier. If you're not quite ready for the call yet, I made a few resources to help you grow smarter and help you avoid the mistakes that I made early on. You can also check those out in the description. If this helped you feel less alone and give you something to think about, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down which lesson here related to you the most. And share this with a creator friend who needs to hear this. I'm Sophia, and this is your sign to keep going. See you in the next one. Bye bye!